wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hello. Welcome to Whisper Wednesday. My name is Jason Newland. Please only listen when you can safely close your eyes. And God, whenever I start doing a recording, guaranteed I start yawning. So my website is jasonnewland.com. Vinnie, this is how it works, because I talked the other day about I was talking about Vinnie making sound and stuff during a recording. I had the microphone set up and everything. He was laying on the sofa, perfectly happy, and as soon as I started talking, he jumped off the sofa, got underneath the table, and started crunching on one of his bones. Instantly. He does sound like he's trying to be quiet though, which is good. Nice. He's a good boy. But it's weird. He doesn't. I don't know why he does it. I don't know. I will stop yawning in a minute. I will. So it is December the 24th, 2025. It's 2:46 in the afternoon. So when I have recorded this, I will take Vinnie out and we'll knock on Nanny Treat's door and wish her a happy birthday. Because imagine now having your birthday the day before Christmas. It's probably, I suppose, the only worst day would be Christmas Day itself. I wouldn't have wanted that as a kid. When I was a kid, I wanted my birthday to be all about me. I mean, I didn't get that till I was 7 years old, but still, once it started happening at 7, I loved it. It was kind of weird because our birthdays, me and my 3 brothers, were all within a month. My oldest brother was directly a month after mine. My second oldest brother was a week exactly before mine. And my littlest brother, who was born just before I was 8 years old, literally he was born the day before I turned 8. So, and every time someone had a birthday, it was a good day. It was just a nice day. So for that week, for a week it was like 3 of our birthdays. That's a nice week. But I don't think I would have I would not have enjoyed having my birthday directly before Christmas back then, when I was a kid. So I need to say thank you to Ben. A big thank you to Ben for your Christmas PayPal gift. Thank you. I'll post something on Facebook group and also send you a message directly. But I literally just saw it before I started doing this recording, so what am I doing here? So thank you for that. Which kind of fits together because Ben prefers the whisper ones. Well, he likes the whisper ones, so this is kind of for Ben. Yay. what's on television. Today, I suppose EastEnders will be on tonight, Coronation Street. Although I'm so behind on Coronation Street that I don't think there'd be much point me watching it. I've now caught up with EastEnders. I watched about, I think it was from the 11th of December all the way through till yesterday. Last night I skipped through a lot of them, but I just caught up with what's been going on so that I can enjoy it tonight and tomorrow. I'm pretty sure I know roughly what's going to happen. It'll be based around Zoe and her daughter, I guess. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but that's the build-up. And also, I suppose we're going to find out whether or not it's Zoe's daughter that's been harassing her. Because that's not a definite, is it? I mean, I think all fingers are kind of pointing towards her, but I've also done it so it's also pointing towards the doctor. You know, so I don't know, we'll see. It'll be interesting. I quite like Zoe's daughter, she seems quite nice. And with her boyfriend, this Oscar, they just, I don't know, seem like a nice couple. I just love the romance. They seem like a lovely couple with a great future. Last night on EastEnders, they showed Nigel having a bit of a crisis and due to his health, and he was in the Queen Vic seeing old characters from the past that aren't even alive anymore in the soap, like Pat Butcher and oh blimey, what's his name? Oh, I forgot his name. Roy's son. Why have I forgotten his name? It's not Billy, is it? Billy. Okay, if I just put in Roy's son, see what comes up. Oh yeah, they also brought not Julie. Anyway, Nigel's first wife, and it was really strange because, cheers Vinnie, it was really strange because they that's the longest drink I've ever heard him have. Blimey. So yeah, they had his previous wife on there as well. It was quite emotional actually, but everyone had aged, because last time his wife was on there was like 30 odd years ago. So she didn't really look the same anymore. Pat looked the same. And, oh, what's his name? Roy's son. I'd forgotten all about Roy's son. I wonder if it comes up. Roy's son. No, Wings. Nope. Okay. EastEnders. Williams' son Nathan Williams is portrayed by Doug Allen and first appeared on the show 13th of November 2001. He's the illegitimate son of Roy Evans. Illegitimate. Do we even use that word anymore? Blimey. That's a very old-fashioned word, isn't it? Born out of extramarital affair. Well, of an extramarital affair with former employee Jane Williams. Initially, Nathan is reluctant to meet his father, Roy, but eventually he moves in with him after his mother's death. Nathan's relationship with Roy is complicated by his brother Barry's resentment and jealousy. Barry, that's what I was trying to think of. I don't know, I can't remember him. So Barry, he was in it. And they had a young version of... By the way, if you haven't seen it, close your eyes. Cover your ears, sorry. They had a young version of Phil Mitchell and his brother Grant. And it was so good, the way they spoke, they sounded like them. And I just thought to myself, I wonder if EastEnders are going to do a spin-off. The young Grant and Phil. I wonder, young Grant and Phil. I think if I put that in, I bet you it's going to come. Yeah. Who plays young Phil and Grant in EastEnders? Oh, they've been in it before. I didn't realise that. So, Daniel Delaney and Teddy J were in it. When were they in it before? I don't know. That's interesting. I really don't remember that. I think it might have been... Well, I don't know. All I know is it'll be good. I think they should... do something with that. Maybe have a... Yeah, they had them in 2022 and now they brought them back. What on earth? Is this EastEnders cast shockers 4 stars return for harrowing? Joining Jamie making a comeback is Eric Mitchell. Oh, that was earlier in the year, so I don't know. Anyway, the thing is, I've been watching some YouTube clips of Phil Mitchell, and he's so horrible. He's been so horrible in that show, such a bully, that I know he's a little bit better nowadays. But I don't know. Imagine what it was like when he was young. I just find that interesting to see. What was weird though is they look little. They didn't look big. So I know that Phil Mitchell's not very tall, but he's a stocky bloke. And Grant, he always seemed to be quite tall. Now they've got Grant being taller than Phil, as kids, or as probably not kids, they're probably 19, 20 or whatever in this. But they just, I don't know, don't look very big. first started being in EastEnders. Wow. Just looking at pictures of them. So was that in January that Phil Mitchell I think right, it was. That's nearly a year ago. Nearly a year ago. Grant and wow. Anyway, so I'm going to watch that. That's all I was going to say. I'm going to watch it. Although on the iPlayer, you can watch it early in the morning. I think after 6 o'clock it's available of the day that it's broadcast, so I could watch it in the morning rather than wait for it to be on TV in the evening. Top of the Pops. Apparently that's not on this year. Is because I looked that up, didn't I? Top of the Pops on Xmas Day. It wasn't on last year. Oh, wait a minute. But there will be an episode in 2024. Okay. UK Christmas Eve, Chatterbox film, Christmas Day. Oh. So. Oh, wait a minute. Apparently, according to this, it will be on. I'm getting different information. BBC fans are in for a treat this Christmas as broadcaster announces the return of this hit music show. So, Christmas Day viewers will once again be able to tune in to Top of the Pops for a Christmas special, following the shock acts of these episodes in 2022. So Top of the Pops aired weekly from 1964 to 2006, and then it returned every year at Christmas time until 2021. Yeah, so I pretty much, if I could, you know, depending on where I was, I would watch Top of the Pops on Christmas Day every Christmas. Like, from the age of 7 onwards. But it would just depend on when dinner was and if it coincided with something else that other people wanted to watch. So, I tell you, it's weird. This is a strange story. My dad, right, back in, well, it's still now, the James Bond movies are still being shown, even the really old ones. I mean, yesterday Spartacus was on. They were showing that when I was a kid, during Christmas. Anyway, if there was a James Bond movie on TV, my dad would have to watch it. Well, we would all have to watch it. You know, it's the only thing that would be on the telly. And my argument would be, what, those two reasons we shouldn't have had to watch it. First of all, well, three. First of all, they were old movies. Secondly, he had them recorded on video in a drawer next to his chair. So he didn't need to watch them on telly, he could watch them any time. He'd already recorded every one that was available to record. Thirdly, he fell asleep after about 6 minutes. sit through the new ones, but I couldn't sit through the old Roger Moore or Sean Connery ones. I haven't got it in me now to do that. And they're still showing them on telly, and I know that they were great movies at the time. Especially, I think it was Doctor No. James Bond changed the genre. The idea of having a film that was action-packed from start to finish hadn't really been done before. To be that fast-paced, and that's what they did with James Bond, and I guess that's why they were loved. Plus, I mean, Sean Connery was cool. He was a cool geezer, wasn't he? And Roger Moore was just funny. It was funny seeing him in it, because he didn't fit the part at all. I mean, maybe when he very first started, I think he was quite slim, and he wasn't old. He was in his 40s, I think, when he first did the first one. But as it got carried on, he was in his 50s, and he was fairly round, and he was doing he was doing things that didn't even look possible. Like, it just wasn't. It looked silly. I know, what's his name? Tom Cruise does things that just look silly, even though I think he does like to do a lot of his own stunts. But some things are obviously not being done. I can't imagine he did anything. I think he needed a stuntman to stand in for him when he was just like skiing, just basic stuff. They needed someone there, or if he was just walking to the train or something. I mean, the fight scenes were ridiculous. I don't know, but I liked them because it was funny. I don't know if you realise that people they were comedies, weren't they, really? The Roger Moore ones. And then they started to get them to be more serious with, is it Timothy Dalton? And then there's the Irish actor that played him. I think all of the Bonds were good. And then Daniel Craig, he's coming to an end, isn't he? I don't know. They took it a bit more in a more serious direction once they stopped having Roger Moore. And I guess they are quite serious movies, aren't they? Technically, but I don't know. What time is it on, though? So, Top of the Pops was the world's longest running music chart show, and each episode featured performances by artists of the best-selling songs for that week, and subsequently with the Christmas specials for that year. December's episode will be hosted by radio DJ Clara Amfo. I got no idea. Is that a man or a woman? Sounds dark. It's okay, I don't know. And promises to include performances from some of the biggest pop stars of 2023. I don't know Clara Amfo. I don't listen to Radio 1, so... Oh, here's a picture. Clara Amfo. I've seen her before. I think I've seen her on TV. So, that's what they used to do. Top of the Pops used to be hosted by Radio 1 DJs. Like, I'm trying to think. Noel Edmonds and just so many. I'm sure Sebastian will try and remember a couple of DJs that used to host Top of the Pops. But yeah, it used to be Christmas was the best one for me. So the Christmas special was previously hosted by Fern Cotton and Reggie Yates, but Clara replaced Reggie in 2017 and went solo when Fern stepped down. It was announced in December 2022 that the Top of the Pops would be cancelled completely due to budget woes. Budget woes? See, I find that strange because it's probably one of the biggest viewed shows on BBC over Christmas. I don't know if it's true, but I imagine it would be. Okay. So they're now talking about Fern Cotton. The treat for viewers will be not watching BBC. Okay, people just moaning about the BBC. Okey-doke. So that would be good. I don't know what time EastEnders is on, but I'm guessing probably about 7:30. And Boxing Day, there is literally going to be boxing on. I think it's the 26th, or maybe it's the 27th. But Inui is fighting, and he's pound for pound world champion. He's a multiple weight world champion, and he's Japanese. I think, at least I hope it's going to be in Japan, because if it's in America, it means I'm not going to be able to watch it live. If it's in Japan, I will be able to, because it'll be on like 10 o'clock in the morning, which is just perfect for me. Yeah. Or 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that, but it'll be on a good time. The start of it. That's why I like Australian boxing. When there's a world title in Australia, it's on during the day here. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I just feel excited all over thinking about it. What am I doing? Okay. So, I don't know what other things are on. The thing is, when it comes to movies, when I was younger, I used to look forward to Christmas because there'd be new releases of movies that had previously only been out on, originally only been out on cinema, and it used to take about 6 or 7 years to get to the TV from a cinema. It's a long time, isn't it? And then video came out, and video was usually out within about a year of being on at the cinema, but there was still that maybe 5-6 years before it came onto TV. And over time, now there's no really, video, DVD is more streaming, isn't it, than anything else now. So sometimes within about 6 months, the film's available to stream after being in the cinema. And then it's not a huge amount of time before it's on telly, like normal terrestrial telly. watched it. Generally. So I won't, I'm not really kind of waiting around for a movie to be on TV. It's not saying that I never see anything on TV that I like, because occasionally I have come across a movie that I just never fancied watching because I thought it'd be rubbish. And then after I watched it, I was like, wow, this is really, really, really good. I'm trying to think of an example. I can't. Okay, no, I can't think of it. It's okay, I think Red. Yeah, Red. I thought it'd be absolutely rubbish. I don't know why I'd think that, but I just did. 2010 movie. I watched it in probably, I didn't get to see the end of it. Yeah, it was one of those emergency situations. I had to leave the flat and call an ambulance for someone, so I didn't get to see the end, but I watched Red in about 2000 and probably 19, maybe 2020, and it's like, wow, this is really, really good. It just surprised me. Probably, I'm just thinking 2019, I'd say, because I had the TV over there and it was a smaller TV. That's when I could see the TV. Did I see the end of it? There was Red 2 as well, wasn't there? They did do a second one, I'm pretty sure. But I just gotta be careful sometimes, because I can be quite swayed by references, or not references, reviews. So I end up not watching a movie for, well, sometimes decades, because I heard it was a bit rubbish, or the person reviewing it didn't like it. And then I've watched it and I thought, wow, this is a really, really good movie. I mean, when you consider that there's been quite a few movies that are really, really popular and have become legendary movies that weren't popular when they first came out. A seasonal one for now would be It's a Wonderful Life. That was not a successful movie, but now whoever owns the rights to that movie are making a lot of money every year, because it is played around the world. I think in America it's like being played all the time on the various channels, and it is my favourite movie of all time. No other movies touched me the way that movie did. The very first time I watched it. If anything, I probably needed to watch it. It gave me a boost, or a perspective, a different perspective. In fact, I might watch it today. I do like the Scrooge movies as well. I mean, I suppose my favourite one would be Bill Murray, just because it's funny. But I think another, it's kind of, I mean, it's the one with Bill Murray that I like the best, apart from What About Bob, which has got one of the funniest scenes ever. Is Groundhog Day. And I know it's been copied so much by other movies over the years. I think I've seen 2 movies this year already that copied the format. But it's kind of, yeah, it's an amazing movie. What was I going to say? I was going to say something about that. Oh, Bill Murray is in this movie called What About Bob? Richard Dreyfuss is his psychotherapist, and this psychotherapist, he tells Bob, who is Bill Murray, I'm going away for Christmas, so I won't be able to see you for a couple of weeks, something like that. And he goes to a cabin in the middle of nowhere, and Bob knocks on his door and basically invites himself in and sort of stays with them over Christmas. That's the scenario. It might be during a summer holiday, I don't know, it might not be Christmas at all, but that's the scenario. And there's a scene in it where Richard Dreyfuss is trying to wake Bob up. So Bob is, or Bill Murray, is asleep on the sofa. His alarm goes off. No, I've just spoiled it, forget that. He's trying to wake him up. Nothing. He's literally shouting in his ear. Nothing. He's poking him, pushing him. Nothing. He starts banging pots and pans together. Nothing. Everything he can do to wake him up. And in the end, he just sits down, gives up. And then Bill Murray's alarm clock goes off. Just like and Bill Murray just gets up straight away, yawns. Like, what are you doing sitting there? And it was just, I ruined it by mentioning the alarm clock before I needed to, but it's a visual thing really. It's just very, very funny to watch. I tell you what, if I see a funny thing in a movie, I have to rewind it and watch it again, because I just can't stop laughing. And sometimes I can't believe my ears or my eyes. What was there? Something recently. So, there's another one. It was, oh gosh, what's his name? Not Gene Hackman, not Gene Kelly. Gene from, he played Willy Wonka. Gene something. He played Willy Wonka. He was in the movies with Richard Pryor and Gene. bites his lips and screams and runs away. It's so funny. It's there's just weird scenes that I find hilarious. Young Frankenstein, where the Frankenstein and his little girl are on a seesaw, and Frankenstein, this monster or whatever, sits on it, and the little girl goes flying. Now, I saw that when I was a kid, and I found it hilarious. It's, it's a bit like the Blazing Saddles farting scene around the campfire. It was apparently the first time a fart had ever been in a movie. It's hard to believe. I mean, weird, isn't it? But apparently it's the first time ever. And they broke the mould with that one, apparently. You know, Richard Pryor helped to write that movie. Did you know that? Yep, he did. So what else? Trying to think. I still think, I mentioned this the other day, the person was in a caravan and it was leaking. There was these buckets everywhere, and one of the buckets was full of water. So this bloke just picked the bucket up and just emptied it on the floor, and then put it back down to catch the water. And it's the most ridiculous thing. And I've tried to look for that movie online. It was a foreign movie. I think it was either French or... I think it was French. I'm pretty sure it was a French movie. A French comedy. So funny. And I saw it in probably 1993, December. So that's a long time ago, but that's etched in my brain as one of the funniest scenes I've seen, because it was so absurd. Just it's just ridiculous. The idea of collecting water in a bucket so it doesn't go on the floor, and then just tipping it on the floor. It's just ridiculous. I don't know why I'm trying to explain it, because it's obvious, isn't it? And there was another scene in the same movie where there's a psychiatrist, and in front of the psychiatrist, or a psychotherapist, in front of them is a man on a couch, but he's facing the other way. And the psychiatrist says, "Oh, why don't you tell me more?" And the man, or the lady sitting down, is saying, "Just carry on talking." He gets up, the psychiatrist, walks out of a door that's behind them, and you just follow him, and he goes and does something. I think he goes to the toilet or something. Then he comes back in, but he doesn't come back in the same way. He comes back in the door where the client, the patient, can see him walking back in, and he's been talking for 10 minutes. It's just ridiculous comedy, and that's my type of comedy. I didn't even know it was until I saw it. I mean, the things that used to make me laugh are probably the things that made me laugh the most when I was a kid, or was a teenager, would be Airplane, the movie, and The Life of Brian. I watched those back to back, and it's possibly the hardest I've laughed at a comedy movie in my life. Those two movies were just so funny. I just found them so funny. But it's hard to... Not many movies Naked Gun movies were great, but I think the Naked Gun TV show was better. It was so fresh and new. Can't even get it anywhere. I don't know where. I want to watch it again, but I can't. I think they made 6 episodes. I mean, there's even one scene when they're in a restaurant and him and the detective said, we need to talk more, so let's walk through the Chinese garden. And they're walking through, and it's basically lots of Chinese people standing up in mud. It's like, it's wrong, but it's ridiculous. Like they're trees, but they're humans, you know. And, you know, another one is, what was it called? When I watched Soap for the first time, that got me laughing. But I've seen it since then, and it was not quite what I remember it to be, but definitely found it funny at the time. Well, it's a rerun. This is in about 93, 92, 93. They started showing it. I think BBC Two at 5 in the morning, something like that. And I went through a period of waking up very early before work, and it was very peaceful, so I kind of quite enjoyed it. It would have been during the summer. And then, what was it called? I absolutely loved Fawlty Towers when that was out. Again, I was watching repeats, because Fawlty Towers was kind of when I was a baby. So I watched repeats and I just thought it was hilarious. Like, every episode I loved, but I kind of watched them to excess. So I wouldn't really appreciate them the way I used to. There was some Extras was another one. There was some scenes in Extras, which was Ricky Gervais's show. I just found hilarious. There's a bit with so Ian McClellan. Okay, he's in Extras, and it's it's one of the funniest things I've seen on a TV show. And so Ricky Gervais is there, Andy Melman or whatever his name is, and so Ian McKellen is explaining to Ricky Gervais what acting is. And at one point he says, I'm in Lord of the Rings. And he looks at him very seriously in the eyes, if you haven't seen it, and he says, I'm not really a wizard. I can't even say the words. I pretend I'm a wizard. That's what acting is. It's pretending. It's just ridiculous. You learn your lines and you read them as if for the first time. But I'm not really a wizard. And that's one I had to keep rewinding because I couldn't get through it. Because it was so funny. And another one was, what's his name from... there's extra bloopers with that, and they they struggled to get through that scene because it was so funny. Another one was, what's his name? Captain Lucard from Star Trek. There was a scene where he's in extras and he's talking about, I think it's a movie that he's written, and just every scenario, situation, every scene in a movie is he sees someone and he looks at them and their clothes fall off. Bearing in mind, he's known for his serious roles. Even Star Trek was a serious role, and hearing him say it just, or X-Men, he wasn't particularly funny in X-Men, was he? He's quite a serious sort of person in the roles he plays. It was very funny, very funny. I didn't ask him to be talking about this, so I'm trying to think of some other really funny bits stuff. There's so many, isn't there, really, to be honest? So many funny bits and bobs I've seen in different movies and TV shows. I mean, sometimes the funniest lines are not in the comedies. It might be a really serious movie, and there's a funny line that's extra funny because it's serious. I think, I can't think of anything offhand. I'm just going through. Oh yeah, there's a TV show called Dear John, and there was a scene that's basically like a little singles club, and they're holding a disco, and one of the blokes that's attending, he's very introvert, but there's a scene where he's doing the DJing, and he's going, yeah baby, groovy, and it's just so out of character with his character. It's made it just so funny. I'm trying to think of some other ones, other funny things that happened in movies. I mean, there's lots of funny movies, but I'm just trying to think. I can't think of anything off by oh, I'll tell you a funny show. I've mentioned this before, but I don't think it's a weird one to watch, but comedy. Not werewolf. Not Anglo-Saxons. Vikings, that's it. Right, it's called Norseman. It's a Norwegian comedy. It's English. It's in English though, and it's very funny. It was made in 2016 and made available Netflix 2017, and there's some bits in it that just, it's the especially Vikings. The Viking TV show didn't have a huge amount of comedy in it. It was a great show, and I watched every episode. Ironically, I watched Norseman first. If I'd have watched Vikings first, I'd have found Norseman even funnier. Because I watched Norseman first, I ended up laughing at some of the Viking stuff. Because they were clearly making fun of it. And it's basically parodying or whatever the Viking drama, and it's the dialogue that's the funniest bit. But then it's weird because it goes from being really funny to being really real, like an actual Viking, some of the stuff that the Vikings were known to do. I was like, wow, it's such a quick turn from being, fun to being a hard watch. It was a great TV show. I don't know. I think they only did 3 series of it. Yeah, they did. The first one. Yeah, so there's 18 episodes altogether, and the first one was 21st of October 2016, and the last one ended the 13th of March 2020. I might have to watch it again, because it was good. I wonder if... Okay. I might have a little wander about it again to have a little look. So, that's me. I've got to take the little one out before it gets dark. I wish, if I don't speak to you before, I wish you a great Christmas. I intend to make a recording tomorrow as well. But happy Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas if I don't speak to you, or if you don't listen to me before then. Have a brilliant time. And remember to be kind to yourself, because you deserve to be happy. And be gentle with yourself. You deserve to feel safe. And remember that you are enough. And you're going to be okay. Lots of love.